Hi, my name is Marianne and I'm the Admin Officer at the Western Sydney Recovery College. Over the past few months we've had to completely change the way that we work. Not only have we moved from running our workshops face-to-face to an online format, but we've also been producing a few little videos like this one and doing all of our team meetings online as well. So it can be quite weird when you start doing things online and doing things by video. It can be something that we're not entirely used to. And so we thought we'd do a little video just talking about this and how you might get used to it. So what I have found with doing workshops and meetings online is that it can be really weird at first that you're looking at yourself. Often the program that we're using, Zoom, has a little window that you can see your own video. So that can be something that can be difficult to get used to. But one of the good things about that is that you're aware that you're on screen and that other people can see you. Another thing that can be strange is being aware that people are looking at you. So sometimes when you're speaking, you might just have this feeling of super awareness that people are looking at you as you're speaking, and it's a bit different from when you're in a face-to-face room with people where people might not be looking at you directly, or you might not be sitting in a circle staring straight at each other. So that's a little bit different as well. The other thing that can be weird is the silences. So sometimes an educator will ask a question of the group, and it might take a few moments for us to process the question and to come up with a response. Or we might just not feel confident straight away giving a response to that question or being the first person to speak. So sometimes that extra silence is something that we're very aware of when we're all looking at each other from a screen. But like with most things, these are the weird things that we have to get used to working online. And they are things that we will get used to. So you might start out feeling a bit self-conscious and underconfident about using an online platform and being on a video, but you will get used to it, and it won't take too long to build some confidence and to get used to this different format.
Hi, I'm Patricia. It's easy not to value or overlook our own needs as parents or carers, especially when we find it intrinsically rewarding helping others. Often when there are windows of time, we're left pondering as though this free time should be dedicated to something else. We might fill it with more tasks or reward ourselves in some unhealthy way like drinking wine or eating chocolate. Feelings of selfishness or lack of real purpose can overshadow a part of us that just might benefit from some me time or self-love and care. So although I might not be rushing out for a pedicure, new clothes, or to the gym, I love learning, and that's what's brought me here to the college. So just being able to sit and stop might provide that chance to say something we didn't think we could say before, or hear something that we've already been thinking, and it might just add some normality to our thoughts and even our day. So it can be challenging with children around. Oftentimes I'd put on a video that would last an hour, and should it finish short for any reason, I'd have a follow-up task like tearing up leaflets and gluing a collage just to keep them busy until the session's over. Sometimes wearing earphones and staying in the same room can also be okay. I've put it like an analog clock in front of the children and created a little traffic light. And so if I needed 1.5 hours, let's say, I'd have them occupied with their toys or games and or TV. So the red would be to start, the amber at the half hour, and quite often they'd never turn around and look, and then at other times they'd be looking every 2 minutes. And then finally, when it's over, the green light comes up and they get so excited, and I won't mention anything about the mess left behind, but it's a good way to have time for yourself. Other times I just sit in the car while parked and watch them play ball in the yard. Obviously always snacks and drinks are a good way to keep them busy as well, and that's usually if I'm attending a phone session. And caring for adults can be a bit different. Hobbies obviously are a good way to share your independent time, whether it be in the garden, they be in the garden, or crosswords, or a deck of cards to play solitaire, or even painting for those that like painting. And also, like if someone crochets or knits, buying different coloured yarn and asking for doilies or something simple while you're busy, or even checking on something in the oven on the half hour, can buy you time while you attend one of the sessions. I hope hearing all of this places some value on your own needs, and I hope you can make time to come in and have a chat with us. Thanks for listening.
Hi everyone, those of you who know me know that I'm Lane and I'm one of the educators with the Western Sydney Recovery College. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lane and I'm both a professional educator and one of the people with lived experience at the Western Sydney Recovery College. And I just want to briefly talk about how surprised I am by Zoom. When I first heard that we were going to have to use Zoom, I was appalled, but because I try to be positive, I thought it is better to light a candle and curse the darkness, and so we have to use Zoom. And I still sat there thinking, frankly, I'd prefer broad daylight, or I'd really, at least a fluorescent lamp. But the reality was that when we first started using Zoom, I actually found a whole lot of things happen. One is that it's a lot more personal than I thought it would be, which surprised me. The other is that we were able to have people on Zoom who simply wouldn't be able to come to a face-to-face workshop. And the third thing I think is that there are people who will be in a Zoom workshop who can use the chat function, or who can just sit there and do things in their own time, who just might not be comfortable with actually coming into a workshop. And the fourth thing is there's a whole lot of people who literally just can't get into the face-to-face workshops that we can be with on Zoom. And I guess the final thing about Zoom is my personal preference, of course, is I am the group work queen. I love being with people and talking to them. But I've actually found that we communicate and are in touch in a way that I didn't think was going to happen. And I've actually found that things happen on Zoom that maybe wouldn't happen in other ways. And that it still feels like us being with each other. So I guess I'd still like to see everybody in a room and us talking together, but Zoom is pretty damn close to being in a room and us talking together, and we're doing it pretty well. So I hope I see you on Zoom.
Hi, my name's Annie West and I'm the Education Officer with the Western Sydney Recovery College. When COVID first hit our communities, I think we all were aware of what we needed to do to stay physically safe. But the thing that was a little bit harder for us to figure out was how do we stay physically safe and keep our communities going at the same time? And that was definitely the challenge for our college. We knew that we ran classes and our challenge was to find out how we could bring our classes to our students and retain all the really good things about them, the way that we managed to maintain a human connection, the way people could bring their lived experience into the classes. Those were the things that we needed to somehow pull together in a new way. And so we looked around for software that would do this. I love technology. I've been fortunate in my life to work in areas where technology's been a really large feature of that. So I was really happy. I was as happy as a pig in mud when it came to working those sorts of things out. But our real challenge was looking at whether people had the skills and interest, and if they had the devices and if they had the data that would allow them to attend our classes in a way that they would enjoy. So We found that the software, and as most of you know, we're working on Zoom, but we also needed to make sure that we could get our courses to work on that platform. Initially, our educators were very reluctant about it. Their main concern, though, was not working with technology, but making sure that the classes brought all those lovely elements to them on an online version that they did when we were working face to face. So that was lovely to hear, that our educators were so dedicated to making it work well. One of the things that came from that, though, and which was perhaps a little bit surprising, but certainly very gratifying, was how much people enjoyed breakout rooms when it came to our classes. Just as in a face-to-face class, when we break people into groups to do a particular activity, it becomes a really informal place where people get to know one another. It did exactly the same thing over the Zoom platform. As soon as people were put into breakout rooms, they just started chatting to one another as they would if they were in a room together. So for us, that meant that some of those lovely aspects of the class we were able to retain. And to this day, we keep doing that. Our students keep telling us they love breakout rooms. The other thing that we learnt was that we were able to actually put onto the Zoom platform the same compassion and caring that came from our educators. And it's that compassion and that caring and that valuing of lived experience and the knowledge that they bring to the classes that still makes the difference.